This is the whole collection of the TIRTIR cushion foundation, and there's one for every skin type and every finish. So let's get started. Let's start off with the glowiest cushion out of all 5. This is TIRTIR's white cushion, which is called the My Glow Cream Cushion. And I think this is the least popular out of all the TIRTIR cushions. According to TIRTIR, this has the highest glow, the highest hydration, medium coverage, and the lowest staying power. So let's see how this works out. Coverage-wise, this coverage is very minimal, ranging from sheer to light coverage. It doesn't effectively conceal large pores or dark hyperpigmentation. Therefore, if you require more coverage, the silver cushion might be a better option, but this is ideal for just minor imperfections. Finish and transfer. This finish is definitely very glowy, and it has a lot of moisture to it, which is ideal for drier skin types. You have to admit it does have quite a bit of transfer like most glowy cushion foundations. I just came to the conclusion that glowy cushion foundations are all pretty similar. They slide off very easily and have very high transfer. Lasting power. Out of all the TIRTIR cushions, this has the least lasting power, and since I have combination to oily skin, this basically made me look like an oily grease pan. I would definitely recommend this for someone who has dry skin and minimal imperfection but still wants makeup to even out their skin tone. It does have a very high moisture content, so it'll keep your face looking very hydrated all day. Next we have the Silver Aura Cushion. This also isn't as popular as the other cushion foundations, and it didn't really leave a huge impression on me either. This is almost similar to the white cushion with a few differences. So TIRTIR claims that the silver cushion has a natural buildable coverage, a rich moisturizing glow, and 72-hour lasting power. Let's see if it stands true. This has slightly more coverage than the white cushion. I would say at most it has medium coverage, and it does a great job in concealing most imperfections like pores, redness, and dark spots. This has more of a natural glow and compared to the white cushion. I would say it's a slight step down. It's not an overpowering glow, but it's still glowy. Just like the white cushion, this has a substantial amount of moisture to it, which makes it great for dry skin. The transfer is very minimal, and I feel like all the cushions beside the white cushion has minimal transfer. Lasting power. This lasts about 5 hours without separating or looking cakey. I would recommend this for dry to combination because first of all, it has the right amount of moisture, it has the right amount of glow, but it might not be suitable for oily skin since the glowiness and the moisture might mix in with your natural oils. But overall, it didn't really wow me like the other 3 cushions coming up. Next is the pink cushion, which is probably the second most popular TIRTIR cushion foundation. They advertise this for combination to oily skin with high matte coverage, so let's see how this works out. So this definitely is medium to high coverage, just like advertised. Concealed almost everything, giving me a nice flawless base. Finish and transfer. They say it's a matte finish, but no matter how many times I've used this, I always end up with having a dewy finish versus a matte finish. But I don't really mind since I do love a dewy finish. The pink version adheres to the skin instantly. When you touch your face, you can immediately feel how quickly it sets on your skin, which is one of the reasons why I really like it. Lasting power. They claim that this has a long-lasting power, which is also true. This lasted more than 5 hours without budging. Since I have combination to oily skin, it did start to look a bit oily around my T-zone. I purposely didn't set my face with setting powder just to see how long it would last without powder. But next time, I think I'm definitely gonna apply some powder around my nose. First, I was confused why this wasn't meant for dry skin since it has a dewy finish, and if you have dry spots, it definitely might cling to that, so I think that's why it's not really meant for dry skin. And I actually tested this out. When I was breaking out, I used a very harsh salicylic acid face wash which dried my face like crazy, and I did my usual skin prep and applied this, basically emphasized all my dry patches, and it doesn't budge. You try to like spread it with your finger, almost like a glue. So that's just my experience, but great for oily to combination skin. The TIRTIR Red Mask Fit Cushion, as you may know, is #1 best-selling cushion in Japan. This is advertised for all skin types with a semi-glow finish. I have the full-size version, and there's also a mini-size cushion. I actually wouldn't recommend this for an everyday look since it is on the heavier side with full coverage, but if you want that full coverage, definitely go for it. If you have large cystic pimples or dark hyperpigmentation, this will still slightly be visible despite being full coverage. You might want to add a touch of concealer. As you can see, I have a huge pimple on my chin, and you can still see the dark spot peeping through. Finish and transfer. This has a semi-glow finish that has some hydration to it without feeling like it's overly saturated with moisture like the glow cushion. I would say it has just the right amount of glow. It's the perfect finish and moisture to it. Also has the best lasting power without much transfer, and this is what the Red Mask cushion is known for. Usually after 5 hours, cushion foundations tend to separate pretty badly, but this one did not budge at all, and I can see why it became the #1 cushion in Japan. I do have to admit my nose did start to get oily, but other than that, everything still looked flawless and the same. And I do have to agree that this is well suited for all skin types because it's not too matte, it's not too glowy, nor does it feel too hydrating or too glowy. It's like just in between. It has a great balance for all skin types. Onto the black cushion, which is advertised as the most matte with the natural coverage. The coverage looks very natural and not that extreme matte look. It has very minimal glow peeping through, which makes it look very natural. On the side note, I don't know if I got a bad batch, but compared to all the other mini cushions, when I dabbed the puff into the cushion, I wasn't getting much product out. I don't know if the foundation dried over time or this is a bad batch. I was very confused, so I didn't get much product, but I was using whatever was left inside. So this might have affected my application process, but I do admit I really like the finish of it. Also doesn't transfer as easily and stays put on my skin. Out of all these cushions, I think I prefer the red and the black cushion the most. This one because of the lasting power, and the black one because it has a very natural matte, which I really appreciate. I just want to preface and say that a lot of people share their experience that this oxidizes like crazy, but I personally haven't experienced that, but a lot of other people did, so you might want to be careful about that. Also tends to run a shade darker than usual. Normally I'm shade 21, but that was slightly too dark for me, so I had to go a shade up to 17 Porcelain. It sucks that they only have 3 shade ranges, but they did announce that they're coming out with a lot more shades and darker shades too. It's really a gamble on purchasing this because you don't know whether or not you're gonna have oxidation, which is gonna make you look super orange, or if it's gonna work out for you. So just keep that in mind.